You've made it. All you've worked for, laid out before you. Manifest your destiny.
Ready to check, Fernando? Ready to check?
You're here for a reason. Remember what it means to you, to the team. Take it.
Go, 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 go.
Oh, Ronnie Taylor's rolled!
Turn your mistakes into drive.
Big push, big push.
Oh, they're side by side!
Let's go, you're doing good.
Harness your adrenaline.
Prepare to be aggressive.
Weaponize your passion.
Vamos, Laia, vamos, vamos, vamos.
Nothing else matters.
Hyperdrive now.
Be bolder.
It's a brilliant move!
Don't let anything stand in your way.
Hunt him down.
Remember why you're here.
More cars now into the narrow section!
Triumph is within your reach.
Incredible!
Take it.
Check the flag.
Extreme E, a worldwide motorsport adventure aiming to make a truly global impact by bringing the world's attention to the issues we face due to climate change, by racing in some of our planet's most remote and threatened locations. While in Greenland for the Arctic X Prix, the championship was lucky enough to have an icon in the fight against climate change, Christiana Figueres, on site. Whilst she was the Executive Secretary of the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, her work was instrumental in creating the historic Paris Agreement.
2015, 195 countries came together and unanimously decided on what direction of travel everyone is going to be traveling in, what the finish line is, and what the intermediate milestones are. The direction of travel clearly is global decarbonization. The Paris Agreement also establishes the finish line, which is zero net emissions by 2050, and the Paris Agreement also establishes the intermediate mileposts, which are every 5 years for every country to come forward with additional contributions. So that's the Paris Agreement in racing terms. However, contrasting to this race, where in the end there will be one winner, in climate change, there cannot be one winner. Everyone needs to win or we all lose, and that's the difference. Extreme E has been very helpful to understand the changes that we must undergo in 3 different areas. Number one, these cars are actually pushing the envelope of technology and electrification of transport. Secondly, what is very exciting about Extreme E is that this is the first motorsport that gives women equal standing as men. What is really here on contest is the professional experience of these drivers, which gives women an incredible opportunity. And the third thing is exactly what we're doing right now, is to help communicate, to be able to take the message and the understanding of climate change to much broader audiences. The viewership here is 20 million people. That is slightly more than climate change people usually speak to. What has actually brought a new sense of urgency is the past 2 reports from science, and the combination of the 2 has actually alerted us to the fact that we are running out of time at a much more accelerated speed than we thought. You will have seen fires in almost every continent, floods in every continent. This is no longer climate change, it truly is climate chaos. The last report has actually told us that we're in danger of surpassing the maximum temperature increase that we could allow for humans to stay in habitable areas around the world by as quickly as 2030 to 2040. So we are living in the most decisive decade in the history of humankind, and that is no exaggeration. We have the rest of this decade to be able to halve our emissions, and the exciting thing is that everyone can contribute. We can all be part of actually building a much stronger and more resilient society, and we have to. Frankly, it's not an option.
With the racing format updated ahead of the Arctic X Prix, the final would see 5 cars do battle for the first time. The 9 teams would be split based on the results of qualifying into 2 semi-finals and the Crazy Race. The semi-final races saw 3 cars do battle, with the top 2 finishers from each race progressing to the final. X44 and Acciona Sainz made it from semi-final 1 after a dramatic finish.
Sarrazin goes for an alternate line, launches the blockchain machine. It's a brilliant move by Stefan Sarrazin to take the lead. Sarrazin has broken the suspension. He drops back. Sebastian Loeb going to take the win for X44.
And Andretti United took the win in semi-final 2, with round 1 and 2 winners RXR following closely behind.
Great job, Katie. Fantastic.
With 4 spots of 5 filled, it was down to the Crazy Race to decide who would claim the final grid slot and stay in the running for the Arctic X Prix crown. After a disastrous, issue-filled qualifying session a day earlier, with the grueling Arctic X Prix racecourse taking its toll on the field, it was the last chance for the bottom 3 teams to progress to the final. Excite Energy Racing, JBXE and Chip Ganassi Racing lined up to battle it out and secure their ticket to the main event.
Hopefully we can make it happen, make it to the final, and finally get a chance at this, because we've had quite the series so far for us.
I think we have a great shot of getting through. For sure, it's only one that gets through there, but I think we have the pace and the strategy to do it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go up against the Americans and JB, so it's gonna be a tough one. But of course we're here to race, so for sure it's gonna be fun.
So we are ready to go racing again. It is the Crazy Race.
In addition to the difficulty the track and competition would pose, the JBXE team had an extra challenge ahead of them. They were given a 30-second time penalty for using more tyres than allocated for a race weekend due to punctures a day earlier.
One place up for grabs. That's why it's called the Crazy Race. Who is it going to be? And they are off. You can see on the right-hand side, slightly difficult to get away. The Excite Energy team doing a good job, though, but I think it's the JBXE team who are stretching out in front. They've taken the early lead. Can Segi TV, Chip Ganassi team fight back? They're going to try to as they go down to the slingshot. It's Arlen Kotolinsky who goes out in front from Price and GZ. Just look, all 3 cars in a line. There's nothing between them at the moment. GZ having a look up the inside line here. If there's contact, it could be trouble. Has she got the pass done? She has. Christine GZ makes a pass up at the waypoint at the far end of the course. Sarah Price drops down to P3. Wow, this is a big move from Christine GZ. That Excite Energy team really coming back and making ground. They're doing a terrific job. Oh, broken steering. No way. Unbelievable. Segi TV, Chip Ganassi Racing just cannot get a break. Unbelievable. That is heartbreak for them, and you could see the excitement that gave Ollie Bennett. I mean, he knows it means with JBXE's penalty that there is a route through to the final.
JBXE came into the switch zone in first, and with the driver change complete, their time penalty started. With Ollie Bennett for Excite Energy Racing taking the lead out of the switch zone, it would be a mammoth task for Kevin Hansen and the JBXE machine to claw back the win.
13 seconds a gap. Bennett's got to hold on for this half lap.
There's
Bennett on the nose! Bennett on the nose, big time, came off far too hard on that. Lights have gone out on the front of the car, it's still running, but he dropped that down way too hard on the nose. The gap comes down to 6 seconds. They feel it, they know it's there for them.
Gap 5 seconds. Gap 4.2, hyperdrive now.
Can Bennett hold on? Will Hansen take a risk at the end of the lap? He's launching in the background. Closing all the time. He's trying to find a way through. He's trying to make this track as short as he possibly can as he tries to hunt down Ollie Bennett.
Gap 1.4.
The pressure is on. He goes wide and manages to do it. Bennett looks like he's slowed down, and it looks like Hansen's managed to make the pass through. Oh, there's a car problem. This is not what they needed. It's exactly what JBXE needed, but disaster for Excite. This is the team, JBXE, despite a 30-second penalty, through into the final.
What a mega drive.
I saw we exited like 22 seconds behind them, and I heard we were chasing all the time. The adrenaline in the body, I mean, it was amazing. And I tried to push everything I had, took all the risks, and you know, it paid off. I mean, we're in the final. Even though we had a 30-second penalty, you know, we come back and we never give up in this team.
With the lineup for the first ever 5-car final set, the fight for the inaugural Arctic X Prix crown was on the horizon. However, the reason for racing in such a stunning, remote location is to bring the world's attention to the issues the region and particularly Greenland face due to global warming. Amongst many of the breathtaking locations in Greenland is the UNESCO World Heritage Site of the Ilulissat Ice Fjord. The ice fjords that make up Greenland's coastline play a huge part in the everyday lives of local Greenlandic communities. During the winter, the fjords are frozen solid, allowing locals to travel via dog sled and fish through the ice, providing food in the brutal colder months. As summer arrives, the glacier begins to break off, and every year the Ilulissat Fjord releases around 20 billion tons of ice into the ocean. And as global air and sea temperatures continue to rise as a result of climate change, this transitional process is having even more dramatic effects.
So all of the ice that you see here just came out in the last few days, and there hasn't been any ice coming out for all the summer for an unnormal long period, I'd say. This is due to just a slight warm-up of the water, and small changes of water temperature means a lot. And this has definitely something to do with the climate changes.
As the winters become shorter and warmer in Greenland, this causes the glacial ice in the fjord to retract further, making the ice thickness less predictable and fishing on the ice even more dangerous.
In Ilulissat, it's normally areas that have ice formed every winter. It forms later and later due to the climate changes. The ice is thinner and thinner. 30 years ago, you'd be going out on the ice 11 kilometers into the fjord. Now you need to go out on the ice 25 kilometers inside of the fjord because it's more safe to go in where the ice is thicker. Outside of there, you don't go fishing from the ice. These guys doing the fishing from inside the fjord will have temperatures to minus 45 degrees Celsius. Of course, the fjord where the glacier is will be cooled down by the glacier. This is why they experience these extreme low temperatures of minus 45. I mean, for a guy like me, this is hard to even imagine. It's really hard for somebody coming from the outside to understand how people are taking this with a lot of calmness. You just live with the conditions there are. There's a certain pride to be people living here in these conditions here, saying that we live in the best place in the world. I couldn't be living anywhere else.
Kangerlussuaq, host of the first ever motorsport event in Greenland's history, the Arctic X Prix. Extreme chose this beautiful place as it is so important in highlighting the issues the Arctic is facing due to rapid climate change. Extreme is racing here for a purpose, but we are here to race. The time had finally come. The first 5-car showdown to decide who would take the victory in the Arctic X Prix. Andretti United, JBXE, Acciona Science, X44 and Rosberg X Racing. The grid was set.
Attention all teams, attention all Extreme E teams. Stand by to start racing at the Arctic X Prix. The final is about to commence. Initialize your systems and prepare to race.
Scott Elkins, race director, giving us all the feels here as we get into this. The final for round 3, the Arctic X Prix. They're all looking for the green light. 5 cars then on the run down to the first corner. What's going to happen here? far left-hand side of the grid. Andretti United is very bumpy there. Contact already between JBXC, just getting into the rear corner. It looked like of Acciona Sainz. Acciona Sainz dropping back. X44 and RXR side by side into turn one up the inside line. It's Katie Munnings on the far right-hand side. Munnings uses her hyperdrive now, takes the lead. Katie Munnings has taken the lead here. Molly Taylor for RXR coming in, trying to make a pass on the run down towards the first corner. Big braking zone down here now. Up through the middle, Sebastian Loeb for X44. 3 cars wide on the braking zone. Loeb's going to leave it as late as he can, so will Munnings, but it's inside line for Molly Taylor. Surely Taylor can get this from here. JBXC are right there. Acciona Sainz a long way off the back. Now on the brakes. Watch for the wide line and the cutback. Coming around the flag, Loeb runs a little bit deep. Molly Taylor looking 4 cars now into the narrow section. It's going to be Sebastian Loeb who finally gets the whole shot. The exit waypoint 6, contact between JBXC there. Can't quite make the pass, and it's Andretti United who hold on to third.
With Sebastian Loeb securing the lead into the narrow section, he began to open up the gap to Molly Taylor in second place, who was under constant pressure from Katie Munnings in third.
We go catch Molly. Let's go.
Munnings trying to get alongside again. Rear of the car kicks up high.
Taylor, Munnings, they're really battling here.
X44 headed into the switch zone with a huge gap to the chasing pack behind. Victory was theirs for the taking.
Driver change time, here we go.
Puncture. Where is puncture?
We heard someone say puncture in the background. Have they got a problem on the X44 machine? They had the rear rights down. The lead has got a rear right puncture.
With that puncture, their lead vanished, and the 9-time World Rally champion Loeb and his engineer tried to change the tyre as quickly as they could. Meaning RXR, Andretti United and JBXC came out the switch zone in the podium positions.
Timmy Hansen leading out for Andretti United. Johan Kristoffersen, the last 2 World Rallycross champions, going head-to-head.
Just look at the pressure that's coming now in the form of Johan Kristoffersen all over the back of the Andretti United team.
Watch now for Kristoffersen. Gonna look for a pass. He's going to go out wide.
Do not let him go. He's on the inside now. He's trying inside. We close the door.
Hansen might try and stall him up at the apex. Kristoffersen now full throttle on the exit. Can he get past Timmy or not? They're still almost side by side. It's so hard to tell from here. Oh, over the crest they are still side by side.
So one of them takes the higher line, one of them the lower line, and you can see Timmy Hansen took that lower line, but the air they got there, incredible. This is a real duke it out fight, and they are no holds barred. Oh, but damage for the Rosberg car.
With the round 1 and 2 winners RXR left out in the cold after that huge jump, Andretti United were on track to secure their maiden win.
Take it home to the finish, flat out to the finish.
Munnings has done a great job to set up what is a fantastic win for Timmy Hansen. He looks to come across the line. They have smashed it out of the park. Congratulations to them. Andretti United win. A fist pump for Timmy Hansen.
Yeah! Wow! Congratulations, guys, for the race.
A brilliant race from start to finish ended RXR's winning streak and saw the championship fight blown wide open.
Well, at the end we managed to finish third, which is good. We have a podium, which is good. Happy with the result.
It's great to be back on the podium. I mean, my second time here, my second podium, and also to have another Hansen 1-2. I think that is pretty amazing.
The whole team has been working so hard this week, and I mean, despite we had a really rough day yesterday, everybody kept positive, still believing in that there is a chance that we can end up where we did. So I mean, P3 the last round, P2 now, so we're hoping for P1 for next round.
After securing their first win and catapulting themselves into the championship battle, Andretti United drivers Katie Munnings and Timmy Hansen talked us through their road to glory.
We won! Yeah, we won it!
Q1 really went great until the car stopped. And yeah, from there it felt difficult, right?
The pace was good though, like when we were going, so it was quite frustrating, wasn't it? But yeah, quali 2.
Yeah, quali 2 was when a lot of cars had issues. We thought, let's just get this home to the finish.
Yeah, it's like we were saying though, we think it's actually harder to drive not pushing. If you push, it's easier and predictable. When you don't push, you don't really know what's going to happen on the bump. So that's a lesson for next time.
Yeah, but semi-final was when we began our great part of the weekend. Like the semi-final race was amazing. Like both of us had great battles, and you bringing it home to win, that was a great moment.
It just felt like such a release of like emotion, you know, as a team we've worked so hard. It's been such long days here, 4 a.m. starts. I'm pestering Timmy all hours, asking him questions, and it was like one of those moments when we were, yes, okay, we're on the pace, we've done it right, we're there.
Yeah, after that, it felt like we can win today.
Yeah, both of us were kind of looking in each other's eyes. I could see he had like a glint of it in his eye where he was excited about it, and I was feeling the same.
Yeah, and I think your start in the final was a key moment. That was a great run, and how you closed the gap at the end of your lap and slotting into the pit bay, I found myself finally leading. I knew I had a big fight on my hands because it was Johan behind. He's a great racer, and I was actually kind of looking forward to that, you know, and it was a good battle. So it's a shame for him that his car broke down. Yeah, and then crossing the line first, just amazing. Going through those battles in those jumps in the second section of the lap in this landscape, that is just as extreme as this championship has to be. That's what Extreme E is all about. Yeah, it's a magic moment, really.
And then you look up and you get glimpses of this in the background, and then you kind of remind yourself you're racing in Greenland. To be a part of that and then to win it is really incredible. And yeah, I mean, we've learned so much as well from the science point of view. It's really powerful in helping us to understand more about how we can all, you know, reverse the effects and help our environment.
Extreme E also is about so much more than just our performance and the racing. Like, just coming out here, it should be impossible to do a race event here. The whole championship and the group of people that are here are all winners right now. Like, and spreading the message of climate change, doing something great for the world. We've all done great. It's not, and we ended up as the winners, but really the whole motorsport community and Extreme E and the environment, like, we're all winners.
With our Arctic X Prix winners crowned, there was only one thing left to do as Timmy and Katie headed into the glacial waters for a celebratory swim. With Extreme E's most remote race to date having come to a close, it was time for our worldwide adventure to move to its next race location. And the team began the huge task of carefully packing down and loading the St. Helena, all without leaving a trace.
At the heart of an event, it's how we feed people, how we get people here, how we get rid of their waste, and how we limit their waste. And the kind of light's gone on for me that if we're going to talk about solutions that other people can apply, what we have to do is simple things. And at its heart, it's bringing less waste, producing less waste, and sorting it simply afterwards. At this event, we had to bring the food here because obviously there's no agriculture in Greenland, so we ship all our vegetables on shipping containers. And then the meat we've taken from the local hunters. And because the chefs were tuned in, it meant there was no food waste because we were just keeping on to the food was used, and then the food we had left over at the end has gone to local orphanage. So it's continued. We haven't thrown any waste food away, which is amazing.
It's important all over. Waste, especially food products, instead of throwing them away, giving them to something important. The young ones have been emptying a whole carriage of good stuff, and we'll be eating very well. We are very grateful for thinking about us and donating all these things to us.
Our aspirations, we would like there to be no trace. There will be a little bit of churn on the sand from the vehicles, but through the winter the valley is completely remodeled by the glacial winds. So by next spring there'll be no sign of anything that we were here. Amongst the crew, there's an enormous sense of pride. You know, we're taking a step back and being like, actually, we're part of something really, really special, really unique, and an amazing opportunity.
Fantastic event. It was one of our biggest accomplishments, I think, today to do the race in Greenland. So difficult, so challenging, but at the same time, the whole team did an amazing job, and we delivered an incredible race yesterday. The whole place is incredible. So happy we came. The people here, the locals, are incredible, so welcoming. We have so much help from them, from everybody here in Greenland. There's a tradition here in the port of Kangerlussuaq for the vessels, the ships that come here, to write their name on the rocks. So we got given permission by the mayor to write the name of Santa Helena. That's what we're doing now, to keep a memory. And hopefully we put a little mark every year we come back.
With the only mark the series left behind being the St. Helena's name on the cliffs and a positive lasting legacy in Greenland, it was time for the ship to head to our penultimate race location. Round 4, the Island X Prix, Sardinia. Racing to raise awareness of wildfires and rising temperatures. Will there be another new race winner? Can X44 extend their qualifying success? Will Rosberg X Racing clinch the title with a round to spare?
See you in Sardinia.
See you in Sardinia.
See you in Sardinia.
See you in Sardinia.